Hey y'all, it's Sarah. I know that I am way off on my holidays, but it's been a weird year anyway, so I am just creating. This is going to be what I'm showing you guys today. I'm not sure if you can tell. I cannot get this entire thing in the frame. This thing is a whopping 40 inches. To give you an idea, I'm only 62 inches high, so this is a really good size project. And I'm going to show you how to lay this out. I'm not going to go through any of the paint process because those tutorials are their own. I just want to show you how to put this guy together. And really get it at this really large size. So let me put this big fella to the side. And I've got some pieces already pre-cut, pre-painted, and ready. And I want to give you those measurements. And I want to explain that our measurements are going to seem a little strange. And there is a reason why. I guess it would help if I left this out for a moment. So we have a nice balance as this goes up. However, I did this so that I could end up using pieces that were cut from here to create the pieces from here. So we've got some weird measurements, and yours might be slightly off depending on how nice and clean you are able to cut your 45-degree angles. So I want to kind of show that. I guess I do have to move him out of the way. So I've got these all finished out front and back. I've got them labeled, and I'm going to show you really quick. Or kind of quick. And my back sides are messy, but they are not bright, stark white. And you will be able to see how nice this looks as just being stacked. I spaced mine with the little gap in between. But I may do one that is full like this where they all touch one another. I like both ways. So I can't fit them all on the screen for you, but I want to show you. I started from top to bottom with A down to J. There are 10 slats going down. So J is the result of a full 30 inch with a 45 cut at each end. I will be the same way, except for I is going to be 27 inches. And like I said, these measurements sound a little weird, but it was so that I could kind of continue using the leftover pieces when they were cut off. So H is around 24.5 inches, give or take. Like I said, you're gonna find a little variance. And H is at a weird cut because it allowed me to get H and A. If you guys can see that. So my H is the 24.5. And then that left me with my 7 inches for A. And I'm just going to leave that to the side there. G ended up being 21.5, roughly. And let's see, I think it was B that I was able to, yes. So you can see that G and B were the results of one another. So that's why their measurements are weird. This is measured out. The long length here is at 12.5. And the G is around 21.5. So you can kind of see how these work out. So F was 20, and they're pretty close, and I did that so that my width was a little taller. So I think F did not work out from there. No, F came, it worked on its own. E and C were the results of one another. So E is at 18 inches. C is at 12.5. Then I'm moving up to D, which is 19.5. And now we're back again. We've rounded back again to C, which is this 12.5 length. We're at B, which was 11, and A, which is 7. So I know all those sound really strange, but you can look and see that they do, in fact, line up really nicely. And you may have to tweak yours depending on how well you get your cuts in. Okay, so I want to show you a trick on how we're getting this 40-inch height. And you could do it even taller if you wanted to. But where I want to put this on my hearth, between that and my fireplace, I only have about 45 inches to work with. So I'm going to bring in, these are going to be my stronger back pieces. I'm going to show you how this is done. So this is a full 3-inch by 30-inch length. And this is an additional 10 inches. So I'm going to come with another 3 by 30-inch length on that short side there. And then I'm going to put this on this side here. And ultimately you get one solid piece once you glue that together. And I'll show you what that looks like. I still need to paint mine, so we'll do that really quick. But now you have this nice 40-inch long, really sturdy, thick piece. And that seam is not going to matter because we will be covering that with our slats. So really quick, I'm going to throw some paint on here. I am just using a mixture of mine. This background is not really noticeable. So all I'm going to do is just bring in my little mess of paint. I have some kind of going right here. There's a little bit of Waverly ink, which is black. And I'm pretty much just going to mix all of my colors. I'm going to mix a little bit of the Waverly and Antique. And a little bit of the clear. And I'm going to smush all of this around. And I have not shown you this video, or I haven't loaded it yet. I've got the video, I haven't loaded it yet. This is going to give you a solid dark color, like Kona, like walnut, like Jacobian, any of those really dark stains. This is not a layered stain. This color is blended out. And you get like a dark wood color. And that's all I'm going to use for this, just because it makes it fast and quick. And it'll still blend with my barnwood look that I've got going on my little slats over here. So all I'm doing is taking my sponge and hitting these edges, the sides, all of those pieces. I'm going to go ahead and do the front and back of mine. I'm not doing any damage to this. For one, I want this to be really strong, since this is my backer and my support. But you're not going to see most of it anyway. So you can see this kind of walnut looking stain color here. And I'm not even using my good sponge. Most of this is not even going to be able to be seen. I essentially just want to get color on this piece. You could go into a little more detail if you wanted to. And you would not have to go as long with this if you were not going to do the space in between your slats. You wouldn't need all that extra room. So I'm just flipping it over to the back side because I wanted my front and backs of all my pieces somewhat finished. I'm going to blend that out a little darker. My pieces are fairly dark. I'm using the Salvage Barnwood look on mine. You guys know that's my favorite for my household decor. But you could go in and do any of the colors. Do some of the lighter ones where it looks like a flocked tree at the top. And then go slowly down, darker. You could do the dry brushing. Anything like that, just to customize it. And I'm pushing my fingers to give myself a little bit of graining detail. Pushing my fingers into this sponge. So there we go. No big deal on that. Like I said, that one was, you're not really going to see a whole lot of this. So I don't need my gloves now, but I do need my pieces. And I'm going to suggest starting at your top. But before you do, see which one lines up better. Depending on how you're going to lay yours out, I think it ended up being better for me to go down here. And I'm just going to lay mine out to see to make sure that I'm going to get it spaced over this little spot right there. And you can already see it's starting to make its Christmas tree shape. Oh yeah, see. That's what I had thought, that it worked out better that way for me. So I'm just going to slide these guys down a hair. So that I can move this one here. And I am going just kind of at the very tippity top of there. I don't want this part sticking out. Not me personally. You might want that part to stick out. And I will try to get the measurements listed out that I used and what they ultimately ended up being after I cut my 45s into everything. And they do sound a little weird, but as long as you're within like an inch or so range of it, you're still going to get this variance in size all the way down. So if you want to gauge to make sure that you're getting a good spacing, I'm just going to pull a popsicle stick in here. And I labeled these right in the middle when I labeled them for myself, so that I would kind of know where to put my glue at. And you can space them out any which way you want to. I just kind of want to make this a matching set to my other one. And you can see some of them are really, really close in size, but it still helps that staggered down triangular look show up and give you a little more height to this without it being like too triangled shape. So I'm just going to continue to go through and glue them all down. And then I have one more little tip trick for you. And you could have fun with it. You could come in and do them like a little more playful. Do them a little cattywampus. slide this down. And there's really no limit to the size that you can make for this. You saw how I just did the extra 10 inches. You could do the same at any size. And all you want to do is just make sure that you get your slats to line up wherever that seam is, and you're good to go. I really was wondering if I was going to need a stack of 3 to feel like this was stable, but once you get it put together, you'll realize that it does feel pretty solid, given what it is. And here we go. I know I cannot span out to get the entire thing, and that's how big this is. Now, I do want to show you a couple of cool things. If you've seen my bench, you know that I have like bolt looking things in my bench. I wanted to bring you some ideas to embellish and dress up your projects. So these are just Dollar Tree thumbtacks, and they can be painted. These are what I'm going to be using, and look how cute these are. These are carpet tacks. I got these at Walmart. They're Bulldog brand, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but they are very old-fashioned rustic looking. These are very imperfect, and they will work for this project really well. So these are just black, basically like thumbtacks. These are upholstery nails. They had a couple different styles. I got the plain black ones because I tend to paint everything black anyway. And then these are a scrapbooking embellishment, and I don't know if you guys can see that. They look like screw heads. They look like a flathead and a Phillips head. Of course, you could use real screws, the short ones. I happen to keep these around because I'm a scrapbooker. So I wanted to throw those few options out there for you guys, and you're about to see how I'm going to use these. These right here at this 5/8 inch length will go through 3 without poking through. 2, they will poke through on you, but 3, they work fine. And these are so cool to me. They look very handcrafted. They are very uneven. Their look is really, each one is pretty individual. So I really like this idea on something like this that already looks like it's coming from old pallet wood. These look like really old nails. I want to show you how easy this is. And if you want to tap some glue in that spot before you go to push those down, you can do that. I don't foresee me having these pop out because I don't plan on moving this around a lot. You can see they just pop right in. Each of those nail heads is a little different. It's very rustic. And that's all it takes. It goes right through. Real screws, real nails will work too if they're small enough or short enough for your project. I don't really tend to use our screws around here because we actually use them to screw things in. So down to the last couple. And you saw how easy those went in. And I could have put like 2 in each one. It would have been super cute. And it really only took me 10 of those for all of these slats. And there we go. That fast and easy. Mine is somewhat finished out on the back. I just didn't want any stark white possibly peeking around from the edge. But I am just holding this thing by here. You can see it's pretty sturdy. None of that is all wonky and wobbly. You could double up on these layers. Just like with this piece, you could always double on that. But I thought it looked really nice just how it was. And now I have two really, really large size pieces to frame my fireplace hearth at Christmas time. Although I do plan on getting some of the fairy lights. Hopefully they'll have them out at Halloween. They usually do. I'm going to get some of the fairy lights so that I can pop holes through this and run my fairy lights through it on not the string ones. They have another one that's kind of has bulbs, but it's not really bulbs. So it has a little length to it that I feel like should be able to go through this really cute and make this glow. And I'll just be able to attach my battery pack to the back side of it. I just have to wait for them to start getting those in my Dollar Trees. So I hope this gives you a fun idea. I could not wait to do this one. And I guarantee this is probably not going to be the only Christmas craft you see from me mixed in with fall crafts, Halloween crafts, and probably Thanksgiving too. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gives you a little inspiration. Maybe not exactly for this, but something along those lines. Or even if just a little nail tip was enough to spark some ideas for you. You never know what's going to trigger an idea or two. I hope you like these. I love these things. And I love how big they are in scale. You really could set these up on your fireplace mantle and not have to worry about them being dangerous and falling down, and have large scale pieces. So I'm so super excited about these. I hope you are too. And I'm going to be doing more crafting. Bye guys.